I think you're right in that you have to have multiple ways for people to enter the process, and that has a lot to do with just resources. I think it works better when you have, it's kind of like testing, right? It's really hard to evaluate yourself. You're either too easy or too hard. It's really kind of hard to find that sweet spot. So having an outside evaluator, whether that's a specific person that kind of comes in and organizes, or a team, I think is pretty valuable. But there will be some people who won't be able to do that, so you want to give them some access to be able to engage.
Because one of the things I noticed when I was going through the maturity model is there's some of the sub dimensions, the different rows in each of the sub dimensions that some were very orthogonal and some were. An expert could tell there was a nuanced difference between there, but I'm not sure that giving it to a city, they're going to you're asking me the same question in a slightly different way.
Yep, excellent point. And even me working with others to develop it feels the same way, which is in part why we did give this sort of
which makes sense from
the guide
testing, which is try out different things and see which one works. But in terms of getting it into a format that can be published and cited and used, even somebody like Karen and Danielle doing that, it's going to have to be a lot less nuanced and a lot more. Here's a distinct thing, even if we're leaving, a little bit of some specific things off, leaving them by the wayside, but how do we focus on the core things that we want cities to really focus on?
Good, excellent point. And a part of us refining the tool in the process is to hone in on that. And I think we opted initially to put in more detail than less. Although I'm even seeing that, some of the detail in there already I'm seeing may not be the right detail, just based on some of the conversations and the information flow that they've been giving us. But eventually, I think for the tool itself, we're going to want to hone in on what is the right amount of information and what is the right kind of information.
Because ultimately, to Megan's point, this is an assessment tool, so it can be a self-assessment or it can be an expert assessment. Mm-hmm. When you got an expert assessment, you've sort of got experts by definition already built in, and you can go a lot deeper and richer, and they're providing that, and you can adapt on the fly. I think the tool itself, you're going to put it up on the Smart Cities for All website and people are going to download it. And what you hope is, since there's thousands and thousands of cities, we're never going to hope to visit all of them. How can they use it, sort of mirror up to themselves and say, and I get on the right track. And that was kind of the question I was getting at with Karen and Danielle, which is, if they leave, which even because it's an election year, far more likely that might happen, though there'd be an orderly transition. But that's the ad hoc level it's very people driven. The highly developed level 4 and 5, it's very process driven. And how do you
capture that?
How do you drive cities to not just an individual champion? How do you drive them to a process? And to do that process, they need a roadmap. And that the maturity model is the roadmap. That's the thing. Like, you ask questions, even if you're one across the board, you should be able to see, we're doing this now, but this is what we need to do. Then you can do, probably do a white paper on every single dimension in there to help sort of dive deeper down and do case studies and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely, and hopefully what's in the model now and will increasingly be in there as we refine it is this institutionalizing the approach, more systems, more processes. Although that being said, I think in a city, and I didn't know this until Gabe mentioned this, that 80% of their budget is on personnel. Part of the systems and process is people, and having staff positions in there. In departments, that was
a big takeaway for me right now. Is part of that maturity is actually dedicated staff across departments, not necessarily one department that drives the.
And I don't think that's unusual for Chicago, because I don't know about the 80%, but in Austin, it was the exact same figure that he gave.
Really?
For public, 2/3 of the budget is public safety.
Right.
Oh, and
And the
public
vast-
safety, yeah.
And the vast majority of that is people. You know,
Which is,
you're not buying a lot of police cars and fire trucks
Right.
relative to salaries and benefits.
which is somewhat analogous to a national budget being for the bulk of it's for defense, although that's both people and stuff.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question, James. Do you feel like through the conversation that we just had, you got the information you needed to score?
So this is my take on it, and I'd be curious to hear what you think, and also please just weigh in with any thoughts you have as well. So that session was on the vision piece. I think for much of it, I feel pretty good about filling in the score. I wasn't actually doing the score sheet because I'm not able to multitask like that, so I take notes and I'll look at the transcripts. But for most of the sub-dimensions, I feel pretty good about the conversation. Around the strategy, I mean, there's going to need to be some more digging in, but I certainly feel like we get enough, or I get enough information to understand how they approach the strategy, how it's integrated with current strategies and all that. Leadership and budget, the business and rights case, I don't. Although we also didn't dig in on that too much. I mean, it was touched on a little bit. So to me, my kind of reaction to that is it's an area where we're going to have to dig in a little bit with them after the fact, which is fine as part of the process. But also it raises a flag in my mind, well, maybe that's not a unique subdimension, or I'm not
The
sure.
business and rights case?
Yeah.
I think that's an excellent one.
I'm
No,
not saying it's not. I'm just saying. I think it was also in their written response materials. It seems, Aaron, to your point too. I think that it seemed harder for them to
prove that.
or not even to prove it, but necessarily even to provide information around
Just
it.
articulate it.
So maybe that subdimension's not defined
It's
well enough.
not a document. I mean, it's not a policy.
hard to-
It's like to say, here's the PDF with the.
Yeah.
But that's where I think the difference between, I feel like it was a very natural conversation where everybody got to chime in. And I think for something like that, we should ask the specific question because they may very well have an answer. They just don't know.
Yeah. Good
So
point.
I think that's a place where we might want to kind of draw some of that out.
I had a feeling that they actually don't have this business case, like formalized business case, and this was something which this person from the budget department was asking for, if we can help them to build this kind of case that they
I
know
think they're
how
doing
to-
some things and they're not doing other things, but that's the hard part is
Yeah.
how much do they understand the business case, understand the need for the business case, and